But don't look in your rearview mirror, here comes number 8. He's a rocker and a roller, and he shows us how to shut him down. I guess he runs independent until my dad is back in town. Yeah, I guess he runs independent until my dad is back in town. Bad boy, stand on it, son.
And welcome to the Nasboys podcast. Now, did you know that Kansas Motor Speedway broke ground in 1999 and its first race was September 30th, 2001? You probably knew that, but we needed a fact for this week. But anyways, guys, welcome to the Nasboys podcast. I'm your host, Mike, aka Mike Fob Fan 101, with my good friends Christian, aka Savage NASCAR.
What's up?
And Cam, aka I Spy Cam.
Howdy.
So let's get down to our usual podcast business here. Talladega, boys. This was a very crazy weekend. Always to be expected at Talladega. Let's start out with the Xfinity race. Jeb Burton took the W in a rain-shortened race. What did you guys think from the limited racing that we had?
I honestly, the Xfinity race was pretty decent. I didn't really get to watch much of it, but it was pretty much expected that weather was going to play a factor, and people have been talking about it the week before the race, you know what I'm saying? And they're like, it could rain. It could be like they might have to move it to Sunday or Monday. And that happened last year and the year before. So it didn't really surprise me that it got rain shortened. I mean, Kaulig racing in general is just so good at restrictor plate racing, you know what I'm saying? And they were up front. And so congrats to Jeb. I really hoped that he would get a win sometime, and he was able to get it, even though it was rain shortened. So congrats to Jeb.
Yeah, congrats to Jeb. I actually did watch it. You know, I knew that weather was going to play a factor. I just didn't know when it really was going to hit. It hit a little earlier than was expected, you know, but it's all right. I thought it was all right. You know, I mean, it was a decent race. I wish I could have seen a little more, though, because usually, I don't know, personally with me, I don't think that Talladega kind of takes a little bit to wind up. So it was getting there, but it wasn't there yet. So far, it was, so what from I saw, it was a good race.
Yeah, Cam, I have to agree with you with it having to wind up a little bit. The racing was very good. It was not a crash fest, which I was very surprised by. I think we only had like one or two cautions per incident. But yeah, the racing was pretty solid. The only thing I was really confused about is why they don't allow the cars to lock bumpers like in the Cup Series.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But it still provided good racing, so I'll accept it. I really wish that we could have had, you know, that last 20 lap dash to the finish, because, you know, that's what makes Talladega so great. That's what makes people enjoy it. But nevertheless, congratulations to Jeb Burton. I was really pulling for him to get a win. He just seems like a nice dude. I mean, I'm neutral towards him, but I think that he's a nice dude, and I definitely think that he deserved to win no matter what. And that was great to see, and him crying in victory lane was awesome.
You know what? If anybody that stands up to Noah Gragson is a win in my book. So
I picked Gregson to win, and he ended up finishing sixth, if I'm correct. So
yeah, he raced good. I thought he was.
Every time I pick him to win, he finishes either top 10 or top 5, but doesn't win. Like, I'm just like, when am I going to pick him and he actually wins? Like.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, Cam, you were very confident about Justin Haley winning. What do you got to say that he didn't win?
It sucks. All right. We don't talk about it. I thought Justin was going to pull up clutch. It didn't happen. You know, matter of fact, I don't even remember seeing him. I'm going to be honest. Like, I don't even think I saw that race. And, like, slowly I was just, like, you know, like sinking in with depression. But you know what? It's all right. I knew. I saw. I'm happy for Jeb. But Justin, you owe it, bro. You owe it so bad to me right now, okay? Because I was on your side, and you just fumbled the bag completely, like, so bad. Also, well, I'll get into it when he brings it up, so no worries.
Yes, I think I know what you're talking about, but let's go on to the Cup weekend. That was a crazy race. That, in my honest opinion, that has to be the best race of the season. You can't tell me otherwise.
I don't know about that.
That was a
I mean,
damn
the
good
only
race.
the only contender for it was the Las Vegas race this year, but I definitely think that was the best
What
race.
about the 500?
500, okay, 500 was solid, but
I
I don't
mean,
know if it was the best race.
I could see why not, because some of it was train racing. But in my opinion, the best race so far this season was either the Daytona Road Course race during the class,
Oh yeah,
that and the
You got a good
500.
point.
But Talladega definitely.
that's true. Clash is definitely true. I put that definitely in like second maybe, but
I think
Clash,
Dega took the win by storm. Okay, like the Clash is very
Yeah.
good. Don't get me wrong, but Dega was impressive. I mean, like even with what happened, I'm still happy.
right.
Okay.
First of all, you had everything you wanted in Talladega. There was no big one. It was just solid racing the entire day. I mean, there was like crashes that were, surprising, like Logano flipping, which we'll get into later, and the crash in the grass with half of Hendrick and Larson blowing up too. So, those were moments that were very interesting. And at the end, I thought that was going to be a big one, like 20 cars, but no, they held it together, which was very impressive.
And another thing I would like to say is that there wasn't a lot of train racing, which was
Yeah.
which is very like made me so happy because I was like, thank you. Like there was a
That's-
little bit, but it split up real quickly. Thankfully,
made
NASCAR is
that
actually
too.
showing up for the fans today and clutched up.
Exactly. So, individual thoughts. What do you guys think?
Okay, so for the cup race, I honestly didn't watch it live because I was spending time with my family that day. But I remember whenever like the wreck happened with Logano, I remember I was just sitting there eating lunch or whatever. I was getting a bunch of messages from people saying Logano flipped, Logano went up in the air. I'm like, what? Like, did Logano actually flip? Like, it's been a while, you know what I'm saying? It's been a while since Logano went upside down, but yeah, I looked at the video. I was like, oh man, that's pretty crazy. And then Bubba about nailed him, but somehow didn't hit him. So that was pretty crazy. But the race, I went back and watched it all the way through. I thought it was a really good race for sure. I'm glad they didn't train race like what Cam said. And there was a wreck at the end of stage 2, which Bubba Wallace actually won a stage. So that did not make the Facebook boomers happy. But other than that, you know what I'm saying? It was a good race. I didn't like that Keselowski won because I'm not a Keselowski fan, but I mean, it was a good race. Michael McDowell almost got another win on restrictor plate. He was just a couple hundred yards short, but good race. Eric Almirola, I picked to win. He didn't do that well, unfortunately, like he has this season. I'll probably get the race like a 8 out of 10. So what about you, Cam?
My personal opinions on it is it actually was a really good race. Like I was upset about Logano, because as me, I'm a good Logano fan. But I will say it was a good race and it made me kind of, take my eyes off the whole Logano thing and, I actually got to focus and I was rooting for Brad, honestly. Like, sometimes I root for Brad every once in a while and today was that day and he actually did win. I was pretty happy about it. I have choice words for Recky Spinhouse, but you know what? I'm going to save them. But just know, I hope you get moved on to ARCA. You don't even deserve truck. All right, that's all I'm going to say. That's all I have to say.
That is a very hot take.
The race was a good 9 out of 10. It was pretty solid. I want to give it a 10 out of 10 because that's you got to have a GOAT race. You know what I mean? It wasn't on that level, but it was a very, very good race to me. And yeah, that's really my opinion on it.
Thanks.
Well, my opinion, here's a clip down below. But
that was totally wicked!
But I thought the race was really, really good. Like I said earlier, you might disagree with me with this, but I think it was the best race of the season. It had everything that you wanted in a Talladega race. You had a flip, you had good racing. I mean, And they did. The surprising thing in both races is that there was not like this huge controversial accident that took out a bunch of contenders. Like you still had contenders in both races. Like in Cup, you still had Justin Haley, Jeb Burton, Noah Gragson. And in Cup, you know, you still had Keselowski, McDowell. Who else was in the mix? Blaney, Harvick was even in the mix, which I was very shocked about. But overall,
wasn't up there.
yeah, Hamlin. I don't know what Hamlin was doing. Well, actually, I somewhat know what he was doing, but it was dumb. He came up towards the end of stage 2. He was trying to push Bubba, but he was in the main pack, and he just got wrecked because Keselowski was trying to block, and he got stuck up into the wall, and then he caused that big crash with Byron, Bowman, Elliott, and Truex. So
Yeah.
that was dumb, but I was happy about it because I'm not a Denny Hamlin fan. But yeah, I give the race about a 9 out of 10. It was a really good race, and the Xfinity race, I'll give a 7.5 out of 10.
And another thing I wanted to add too, I mean, the Cup race also had a lot of other cool things too. Like the amount of fans at that race was crazy. My voice just literally died. But yeah, there's a lot of fans there. I mean, we even know people that were there at that race. It seemed like it was packed. And I was like, man, this is what we've been waiting for. It's been a while since we've seen this many fans at a race. So very cool to see. And then which driver had the gas can get stuck and took it onto the track? Was it
Burton.
Oh, it was Burton. Yeah. That's pretty crazy. I mean, it was his first start too in the Cup Series, if I'm correct.
He did well. He did very well in his first start. I forgot where he was, but I know he ran top 10 a couple times. As I am checking where he finished. But yeah, he did run really well. I was very impressed with him. And obviously it's Talladega, which anyone can really win at Talladega. But yeah, Harrison, if I can find where he finished. He finished 39th actually, but he was running well.
He must have had something happen, like a wreck. He must have been that one wreck.
Yeah. Anyways, so let's get kind of in the elephant in the room here a little bit with the Logano flip. The reason why I want to bring this up is, first of all, because I mean it's a flip, but we always like to bring up moments that get people talking. And one of the moments was Logano's call for safety. If you have not seen his interview, which I'm sure most of you have, here's the clip.
Now, not only first race win, but with 1 lap to go in stage 1, Matt DiBenedetto is looking for his first ever stage win.
So that's exactly what we were talking about. He was pushing him, couldn't see there. They moved up to take a block. He had to check up, stacked him up, and almost wrecked him.
Yeah, that was almost big between Kyle Busch and his teammate Denny Hamlin. And now look at Kyle Busch go backwards because of that.
And he did. He went backwards because he chose the. Oh, he's wrecking. Joey Logano.
Logano. And Keselowski
is in it.
Boy, it's just scary. Anytime that air gets underneath that car, gets it airborne like that. Thankful to see that car get back on 4 wheels and not have it moving around.
Grabbing the window net there. That's a good sign.
Good sign. Look how it almost peeled that roof back.
Oh, heavy damage to Ricky Stenhouse, who had a fast car today.
We talk about how aggressive some of these guys get at the end of these stages.
So the stage ends under caution. Logano was called in on the radio saying he is okay. So
and look how they're all stacked up. They're all bumper to bumper to bumper.
Yeah, but look at the 11. He moves down to try to go on the bottom, gets turns him into the Joey Logano. And then, Jeff, we've all felt it. That silence. When that car goes over, it gets really, really quiet. Not a fun sound.
And you have no idea if that car is just going to start rolling and continuing to roll or if it's going to settle down. Luckily, that's what it did.
You see the 11 get in Joey, and a huge push right here as he gets to the bumper of Blaney. That's when it starts accordion. And it looks like finally Denny had enough, was going to try to move to the bottom, and just got turned around, turned right into Joey Logano. and away he went.
I tell you what, Clint, and you see a little bit of damage to the tube. Brad Keselowski, as he gets a little contact there. This goes back to those conversations from Daytona. Those 3 Penske cars, and you can include the Wood brothers in that, they wanted to stay nose to tail to end this stage. They did not, because Joey could have very easily jumped out of the line there. He had the run. He had the momentum.
And I tell you, looking back on the 11 car at Denny right there, if he wouldn't have hit Joey Logano, he would have been wrecked and out of the race.
You saw Chase Briscoe come down track trying to miss Logano, and he turned Keselowski right along.
This doesn't even seem real to me. This is like a video game.
Real to Bubba. Woo! Real close. Look out.
Wow. Ricochets off that rear window. That Denny's getting a big push from behind with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And I don't know if he just was pushed so hard that he had to step out, or he just tried to make that move at that moment, and then he did. It turned him.
Kevin Harvick.
That's as close as it gets right there.
Brad Keselowski looks like he has this missed.
He does everything right. He sees it happen. He moves down the apron, gets on the brakes, slows the car down, avoids the wreck. But unfortunately, somebody comes off the bacon and collects him.
But no damage to his car. And Bubba Wallace.
Yeah, this is the one I like. I mean, you want to talk about in your face. Look at this. This is an automobile coming at you. DoorDash is a sponsor, man. DoorDash me some new underwear. I got a mad. I'm telling you.
And it was a huge hit on the roof for Joey Logano, one of the tallest drivers in the field. Joey, what goes through your mind when you see those replays there?
I guess I don't know exactly what to think. You know, it's a product of this racing, and on one hand, I'm so proud to drive a Cup car that is safe, that I can go through a crash like that and get out and speak about it. And one hand, I'm mad about being in the crash. The other hand, I'm just happy I'm alive. On the other hand, I think, when are we going to stop? Because this is dangerous, doing what we're doing. I got a roll bar in my head. You know what I mean? That's not okay. I'm one hit away from the same situation Ryan Newman just went through. I just don't feel like that's acceptable. A lot of us do this big spoiler and these big runs, the pushing and all that. It's no one's fault, right? I mean, Denny's trying to go and 47's trying to go. It's a product of this racing. We have to fix it, though, because someone already got hurt and we're still doing it, so that's not real smart. So, but at the same time, I'm appreciative of driving a car that's this safe, and appreciate what Team Penske's done for the safety of these cars as well, that I can live to talk about it and go again. So I got lucky I didn't get hit while I was in the air. So unfortunate for our Auto Trader Mustang, but we'll go on. We'll go on. It won't be a good starting spot next week.
Thanks, Joey. I'm glad you're okay.
The end of stage 1. With Joey Logano flipping and flying, and Bubba Wallace having to literally drive through it.
So Logano has a point with safety, because what he didn't like, I don't know if he made it very clear what he didn't like, because a lot of people took it as, oh, if you don't like plate racing, then retire, or don't race plate racing anymore. And people were taking it as NASCAR should take away plate tracks off the schedule, which I don't think that's what he was trying to say. What he was trying to say was that the big spoilers are causing the flips, and we need to take those down, which I both agree and disagree with him here, because I have noticed more flips with the big spoilers. But even if you take the big spoilers out of the car, you're still going to get close racing and potentially flips. I mean, we've seen flips with the smaller spoilers. Look at Austin Dillon, for example. He went up into the damn catch fence with the smaller spoiler. So you're still going to get those big wrecks. And David Reagan, a retired, really good super speedway driver, he said, lol, it's the driver's fault for the wrecks, which I also agree with him there. I mean, yes, the car has something to do with it, because with the aero package that NASCAR implemented at these tracks, the drivers race very aggressive at stupid parts of the race, and Logano does too. I admit that Logano does as well. Stenhouse, as we saw, that's just what happens. That's a product of this racing, and I don't know if we're really going to fix that. Some people are calling for the drivers to get disciplined. I'm not sure how, because, I mean, these cars are safe enough to hold these drivers well, to keep them safe, like Logano said, but I just don't know how to fix the problem. I mean, I want to see good racing. but I also want to see safety, but I just don't know how. NASCAR is doing all they can with safety. You know, they did lower the horsepower with the Newman incident. They do understand that safety is the number one importance, and I think NASCAR is just doing all they can, and there's not really that much you can do with safety there.
I
Here's my
agree
take
with
on it.
you. Sorry,
Yeah.
you want to give me Cam?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Yeah, you go, Cam.
I was just gonna say that like I kind of want to say it, which people might hate me for it. I could care less. If we didn't have the aggressive hard racing, it wouldn't technically be NASCAR.
Exactly.
And that's why there's like a safety limit to it. But at the same time, these drivers do somewhat know the risk they're putting, on each other. Like,
right.
Because they're professionals. You know what I mean? They wouldn't be in NASCAR if they didn't know that stuff. So I think there's like a 50-50 to it. You know what I mean? It's like, well, if we didn't have this, like I said, NASCAR wouldn't be the same, but we don't want to get anybody hurt. We don't want to see people end up in bad conditions or even death. You know what I mean? And so it comes into like a 50-50 play of what should happen. And I do think that NASCAR is trying their best to stop it, and I think sometimes people need to take a break and realize and step into the shoes of not only the drivers, but NASCAR as a whole and see what they're actually trying to fix and do. But it's complicated because you don't want to make it too safe because you know what I mean? Like where it's like over strict and everything because then people want to watch it.
Because if it's too safe, sorry for interrupting, but if it's too safe, then the cars are just going to be like, like little bumper cars. They're not going to be having this close racing like what we all enjoy at Talladega.
Exactly. And at other places too. I mean, like, some people might not like me saying this, but I think if we didn't have the horsepower, we didn't have the aggressiveness, we didn't have these people that were like Dale Earnhardt, Richard Petty, those type of people, if we didn't have them, they wouldn't make some of the races that weren't plate racing as fun. Because without it, a lot of those tracks would be boring, like really boring. And so the fact that we do get this tight, aggressive racing and, it kind of fills up the space and it's what makes the race like, just glow. So it's like a 50-50, but I do think that like safety matters, but aggressive racing still needs to be a thing.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that, like I said, some of the drivers just are aggressive at like stupid points of the race. Like I don't want to see like someone blocking and trying to push hard just for stage one when they're clearly going to get stage points. But I also like don't want to see them hold back at the end of the race and just give the win away. Like that's the fun of Talladega. So I think that there should be some aggressive limits, but nothing where it's going to make the sport like soft and people make fun of it for being soft.
Yeah. Well, for my take, I have to agree with all of what y'all said. So I'm going to try to talk about some things y'all may not covered. For me, honestly, didn't think the wreck was that bad. I mean, yeah, he did flip over and part of the roof was dent in, but we've seen much worse wrecks than that drivers didn't complain about the safety. The spoiler thing that Logano mentioned, I think he has a point there. The spoilers are huge. I feel like NASCAR has done well with the safety and all that. I don't think that safety is a huge concern right now, even though it is, of course, in every race, but I don't think it was a big deal. And the thing that triggered the thing that I got from the Logano wreck that a lot of people were talking about was there was a lot of bad comments and a lot of bad things people were saying about the wreck. Like they're like, "Oh, I wish Logano got hurt." Like those sick people. And
Christian, can I interrupt you for a second? I'm so sorry. I just need to say this. If you want Joey Logano dead or like any NASCAR driver, not even Joey Logano, just any driver, get help. Really?
Yeah,
they're humans. They have families. They have fans. How sick are you to want somebody dead just because they race hard and they're doing their job. They don't have to hold back just because etiquette. No, this is their job. They get paid to drive the race car. They're
That's
gonna
like-
go be aggressive. They're gonna go for wins. They're gonna go for top fives. That's racing. I wish
And that's
people understood
absolutely-
this.
And
Yeah,
that's
and
one
like
thing
honestly,
that's
I think that like
toxic.
I'm sorry, you can go.
But yeah, that's just one thing that like it's sad to see when people would do that because we've seen toxic people in the NASCAR community. We know sometimes it is toxic. And the wreck that happened Sunday, we saw that happen with people. I mean, it was pretty sad to see some people were like, "Oh, I wish Logano broke his back like Hamlin did." I saw a lot of bad comments, and I have to agree with what Mike said. It's just terrible, and those people aren't like real NASCAR fans. Those people are just, I don't know, they're just, it's just sad, man. Like, but other than that, what do you have to say, Cam?
I was just gonna say like, like so many people that used to race like in the past, or that are like old time racers, right? If they saw like some of the things that these people would be saying nowadays, and like saying that like, oh, this is too far in racing, that's rough. It's like they would be embarrassed. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they would look at this like, what? Like, I'm sorry, but if you think that Joey Logano is the most aggressive driver ever, you are kidding yourself. I mean, like, to a major point, because like there's more aggressive drivers than the whole Cup Series alone. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a thing of racing, and people are always going to be different. And I hate to say it, but it's true. If you want to win in life in general, you got to be a little aggressive. So that's why you see Joey where he is. That's why you see Kyle Busch where he is. That's why you see Chase Elliott where he is.
Noah
They're
Gragson,
aggressive. They're
too,
aggressive
Austin
drivers. They're
Cindric.
always going to be this way.
Yeah.
And if we never had aggressive driving, then guess what? The person that was going to be stuck in front, the person that was up in front, first place, guess what? The chances are they're going to stay in first place the whole race. Like, I mean, like, yeah, you might have like a switch every once in a while, but it's just going to be the top 3 people in the same way. You know what I mean? And it's just going to be slow. And by lap 200, maybe you'll see a change in the race in the front.
Well, Stenhouse
Right.
Jr., he was aggressive too, and I know Cam is not a big fan of Stenhouse. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the takeaways from that wreck. I would have to say. Don't think there's going to be safety changes because of that. It was just a minor flip over. It was basically kind of like Brendan Gaughan's flip, except for he landed on his roof. Sort of. Didn't go that high. But, I mean, we've seen worse wrecks than this. We saw what happened with Kurt Busch last year. He went up in the air. Just because someone flips doesn't mean you have to change the rules or make any more changes. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That's all I have to say about it.
No, I don't think they are going to make changes either, but I do see Joey's point. Like, I don't agree or disagree with his point. I think if anything, just change the spoiler, but other than
Yeah.
that, just keep the racing the way it is. It's just fine the way it is. So I forgot to do this. Let's go into your fan thoughts. One of you said great. 11 of you said good. 2 of you said meh/okay, and 2 of you said bad. Matt G. Pastor just said rain. I think he said bad. That's right, he did. Rain shouldn't ruin the race completely because it was a good race, but I do see your point. And I'm a God 248 says we weren't able to see the whole race with a good finish. That's true, yeah. And the driver of the day is Jeb Burton. And for the Cup race, 11 of you said great, 6 of you said good, 1 of you said meh/okay, and none of you said bad. Josiah _ Calhoun, who is a host on the podcast, for those of you who don't know, he's just going to alternate. He says, a lot of great racing. I was always on the edge of my seat. Hard racing, great race. That's the same with me, buddy.
And he's a Brad Keselowski fan, so
Congratulations to him.
See that win.
And last episode, if you guys missed it, he did pick Brad Keselowski, so good job. And driver of the day, this was a tie, so I guess we have to break the tie with driver of the day. I'm going to go, I'll go with Brad, I guess. He won the race. He came back at the end.
Well, who was the two drivers of the day? Like, what was the tie for?
Brad and Matt DiBenedetto.
Oh man, I really wanted DiBenedetto to win that race. I'm looking up how their stats for that race real quick.
Here's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna give it to Brad, but Matt had a hell of a fight. Okay, so if anything, he should definitely get like an award for trying his hardest.
Congratulations, you get a participation trophy.
Ouch.
I'm not gonna pick Keselowski for driver day because he only led one lap. One.
Oh wow.
But here's my thing though. Now I'm gonna start a little debate here, but at the same time, if he didn't fight for that lap, he wouldn't have won the race.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
So I mean, like even if it's one lap, I mean, he still had to make his way back up.
True, but at the same time, like, you know, a lot of people wait till the very end. But I'm not saying he did that. But for me, I mean, DiBenedetto did lead the most laps. He finished fifth. Bubba Wallace actually led 16 laps. Or hold on a second. Almirola and Wallace led 16 laps. Ross Chastain led 12. Man, it's hard to pick because Byron also led 12 too.
I think if anybody, I'm not even gonna pick Brad. I'm just gonna go with a tie between Matt and Brad. Because I mean, Brad had the plan. Brad had the plan. He wouldn't have won that race if it wasn't for his skill at Talladega. And Matt just had the pure like driver of the day esque.
Yeah, you know, I'd also like to say that I know that the NSS Heaven people, aka the Facebook boomers. I know they are not happy about Bubba, but it's funny because now after hearing all this, I'm definitely gonna go to Facebook and see what I can find because I know I'll find some national treasure there.
Bro, I'm in so many NASCAR Facebook groups. I've seen all sorts of stuff on there. I mean, I remember when someone they put Bubba Wallace stage winner. There was so many angry emojis and just people saying, "Oh, it was terrible." It was bad for sure.
I think most boomers, they either hate Bubba Wallace or Joey Logano from what it seems like.
I mean, and Kyle Busch.
Busch, yeah. I mean, because I saw a lot of people like, yeah, boo-hoo, Joey, stop racing that. I'm just like, oh my God, bro.
I was going to say now, everybody's a hater of Joey Logano. You know, I'll say it once and I'll say it again. Joey Logano could be like 28th in the field. And yet, if the race happened up at first and second, somehow they'd find a way to blame Joey. I don't know how it happens, but guess what? They'll make a way.
Yeah, I'm going to just say this once again for all you new viewers. Win, finishing second, or wreck, I'm a Joey Logano fan till I die. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm the only non-Joey fan, I guess, right now. Since there's the three of us tonight, but it is what it is. Don't dislike Logano, but also don't like him.
And here's some thoughts on the Logano wreck, by the way. I put up a poll of what Joey said. 9 of you agreed and 4 of you disagreed. In the agree tab, Austin Hawkins 018 says, there's really no other way than slow the cars down. I mean, how do you propose we do that? Please comment down below how you propose we do that. And in the disagree thing, Matt G. Pastor says, no matter what, plate races will be dangerous. They can't do much, which I agree with. Crispy K on 88 official says, in my opinion, mostly just super speedways and how they are. I will say that they should make the roof stronger, which I agree with because, I mean, you don't really know. We didn't really know considering that we haven't seen that many flips besides the Newman and Logano one where the roof got caved in. I don't really know exactly how they're going to make the roof stronger. Maybe get a different material, but who knows? I can see your point, but
no. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just caught of do you know that one meme where it says "Hold my beer"? You know I don't drink or whatever. When you look at Logano's wreck, it is like, oh, it's a bad wreck. His roof caved in. Dale Hurt Sr. at Talladega in '96. Hold my beer.
Yes.
You seen that?
Yes, I agree with that.
Roof.
I also want to say, ladies and gentlemen, as a good friend of, the I am Matt G. Passer, dude, so before you take anything he says into consideration, just realize he's an Almirola fan.
Go! I like Almirola. I really do. And
Dang, Cam, you got to roast Matt even on the show.
It's true though. I'm telling you. Like, listen, some people you just got to know the backstory before you take their advice, and he's one of them. You just gotta watch out. I know I'm surely gonna get a DM from him later. It's okay though.
Matt, if you're watching this, you're cool, but you're an easy target.
I don't see what's wrong with being an Almirola fan. Honestly, I don't.
Well, you know what? We're not gonna get into specifics. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just
I hope
too
you
long
can
of an
laugh
episode.
at this,
I could
Matt.
go. Listen, matter of fact, I could do 2 hours of a podcast just dogging on Almirola and Matt. So but we won't go there.
Bruh.
So we're gonna do something a little different here tonight. We're not gonna do a paint scheme review for you longtime listeners. We're gonna try to do something a little differently, and that's opinions about certain things, whether it be drivers or the drivers' fan bases. So I'm trying to find.
Mike, how we probably need to make a new one. We're almost out of time.
Yes, let's just get through a couple of these real quick, and then I will start another recording because we are back on our old Zoom stuff for those of you original members. So the thing I really liked about you guys is that you guys didn't necessarily give us the big name drivers. You gave us a couple of them, but a lot of them were very smaller team drivers. So this is gonna be very interesting. We're gonna start off with Cody Ware. I don't know that much about him. I just know he likes anime and he's not that great of a driver. So that's my opinion on him. I'm neutral.
Same.
It's the same here. I feel bad, but it's true.
I agree, but I don't watch anime, so I can't relate with Ware on that. But I mean, I have to agree with y'all. I honestly don't really know much about him.
Maybe he's doing that Naruto Morse code things with his hand.
Oh, come on.
He just used his hand gestures on the wheel, you know what I'm saying? Just
Yep.
But
I can't. Oh, I'm sorry. I try to hold back my laugh. I can't. I just imagine an NASCAR driver.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm in a good mood today, guys.
Yo, if Cody really watches anime and Naruto, he can just Naruto run around the whole track.
He's just doing hand signals and spinning to somebody without doing it.
Exactly.
He's like a Dragon Ball Z leveling
up,
Super Saiyan Cody.
Yeah. Facts. Super Saiyan blows up the whole field, wins the race. Next up, Bubba. I have a bit of a controversial opinion on him, but just as a disclaimer for all of you sensitive people, no, it is not because of his race. No, it is not because of what happened last summer. I completely understand and support him for standing up for what he believes in. Whether you agree or disagree with it, it doesn't matter. He still used his First Amendment right, and that is 100% okay. So I don't like Bubba that much because I just straight up don't like his attitude. I think that he whines about stuff too much. And for example, we saw him throwing a Gatorade on Alex Bowman, and we've seen him. Yeah, and we've seen him, mock Christianity. You can take it as mocking Christianity. We've seen him just call people peasants. I'll pull up an Instagram comment. I just don't like the way that he acts.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean that my opinion will not change on him, because every driver, I'm sure, has gone through moments where they're very immature. I think that he just needs to mature and realize that, this was stupid, that was stupid, before, he really develops more as a driver, because everybody's claiming him to be the next messiah, basically. And, he's far from that, in my opinion. But it's whatever. He's got to mature. Look at Kurt Busch, for example. Kurt Busch was the biggest hothead in the sport, and now he's one of the most down-to-earth, loved dudes in the sport. So
Yeah.
people can change. I definitely believe people can change, but as of right now, I am not at all a Bubba Wallace fan. We will be right back, by the way. I have to stop the recording. All right, sorry, guys. You know how we are with Zoom. So, Cam, what is your opinion on Bubba Wallace?
I hate Bubba Wallace. Okay, I'm just saying that now. All right. For one, I just think he's a total douche in real life. And you know me, I'm a Christian, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it really, really annoys me to see a guy like that just like dogging on Christianity because he does it more than once. Like he said a couple things, and like he just acts like so high above everybody else. But I'm like, you know, when was the last time you won a race, dude? You know what I'm saying? Like, what was it? Your first, second season? You know, ever being in here? Like, humble yourself a little bit. Like, come on now. But you know, with Christianity and all that, I just think like, you know, he's committed blasphemy, and I really do not like people that do stuff like that. It really gets on my nerves. And you know, the whole peasants thing. Maybe he was joking. I couldn't really tell. If he wasn't, oh well. I mean, it makes sense when he acts, you know, like an idiot. And you know, the best thing I can say is I pray for him. But I just know at that point praying's not going to help because he's already committed blasphemy. So that's my thing. Now you go. You can go.
Yeah, I just want to say why he called someone a peasant. So someone was being like what some people would call like a boomer or a Bubba Wallace hater, and he was hating on him, and Bubba like responded with that. And there was also one where he told someone to go play in the street and on a busy highway, which okay, I get you're being hated on. I understand that, but you know, you can't freaking take it out on people like that. It makes you look dumb. Just shut up and race. Joey Logano gets more hate. I mean, not more hate than you, but I mean, he gets a ton of hate, and you don't see him replying to every comment. You don't see Denny Hamlin, your team owner, replying to every comment.
And I will say, my fair share, I have defended Bubba a couple of times. All right, and you know, you can even ask these two guys. I have.
Yep.
But I'm not a Bubba fan. I never will be. I mean, I used to thought he was okay, but with, you know, his whole thing on attack on Christianity, I just lost all respect for him.
Yeah.
He said, I remember he had a tweet one time saying that, you know, he thinks that Bible should burn and rot in hell with everybody else.
Is that true?
I'm serious, dude. It's an old tweet, like old tweet. And I get it, like the past is just the past and all that. I don't care though. Like you still said it, and it's blasphemy. So you know, congrats, bud. And you're past the age of that crap. You know, it's just religious things. But you know, anyway, Savage, you go.
I have to agree with all y'all's points. I did not know about that old tweet, but I have mentioned this in a YouTube video on my channel before about Bo Wallace. I have people ask me about him a lot, actually, like what my opinions are about him. And, you know, a lot of what y'all said is my opinion on him. I do say that I would not mind seeing him win a race. I think that'd be cool for the sport. But honestly, don't really like him at all, mainly because of what you said involving the Christianity thing, since I'm a Christian. And I think it was horrible that he said that tweet, or that tweet. If it's, I don't know if we would put it up on the screen or not, because we could get video taken down or whatever. I don't know what the community guidelines are regarding that. But anyways, I think I mean, I was at the Robo race where he threw the water bottle at Bowman, even though he was dehydrated, almost like, you know, like passed out. You know what I'm saying? And there's just some other stuff he's done that I don't agree with. And I don't really like him that much at all. I mean, imagine now going to what you said about replying back to everyone's like mean comments and stuff. Imagine if he was doing what Natalie Decker did in regarding like people like going after her and all that. Like if he was like Natalie Decker in responding to criticism, it would be bad. Like it would be really bad, because we know Natalie Decker, she can't handle criticism. She'll block you, she'll tweet about you and all that. So if Bubba was like that, it would be really bad. Like, I mean, the sport would just be in a mess. That's all I have to say. I mean, y'all pretty much said my thoughts as well.
Yeah, I was blocked by Natalie. I honestly, I just said a joke. I'm not like one of those like, I just said a joke, and I guess she took it to really offense, so
Yeah.
it's okay though. Like I wish I could have told her like I was just kidding, but by the time I was starting to text her back, I found out I was blocked, so it's okay.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Cam was also blocked by Jimmy Johnson. So Cam, do you mind sharing about that?
Oh yeah.
You never told me this, Cam.
Cam.
I thought I told you. I know I told Savage. I thought I told you too. Maybe I didn't. But I kind of was a little bad at Jimmy Johnson, and I told him that he needs to stop crying like a baby. It needs to grow up a little bit. I was like, dude, you're only like, what are you, like almost 40? Like, grow up. And I guess he really did not like that. And I got blocked from him. So like when people send me like stuff from Instagram about him, I can't see it. So,
yeah.
But I was mad because I was like, dude, honestly, I think this was after maybe a little, it was after the Harvick incident.
Yeah, it was.
Because I was really upset because I was like, dude, you're like 40, like get out of the stage, man. Like, like why? Like you grew up in the, the days when people would get wrecked, and guess what? They wouldn't tweet about it. They just go on with the day, man. I don't know what's your issue with you. I'm like, you clearly turned in. It just annoyed me so much. So I kind of just went on his Instagram and just like made a whole paragraph. I got a bunch of people that hated me for it, but oh well, I got blocked, so I can't see them now. So middle fingers are in the air.
They blocked you because of that. Like most people, like drivers won't respond, especially Jimmy Johnson, because he actually doesn't run that account. Like he has someone that helps run his Instagram. So that's crazy because like
I remember seeing it too. So
would see your message like block you. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't think it was him. I think it was probably somebody that worked for him. But I guess. I mean, okay, listen, I will say, though, I had my fair share of cuss words,
Yes.
So, I mean, that might have provoked it a little more. But at the same time, I was really mad. I was heated.
So, by the way, I forgot to mention this. What are you guys' thoughts on Jennifer Jo Cobb not being able to race?
Bad, because I feel like she's been in NASCAR so long, right? Like she's been in the Truck Series forever, and she's made some Xfinity starts. I was like, when they made the announcement that she's going to be around Cup, of course this going to be means about her wrecking the field. But I was also like, this is pretty cool, because it'd be the first time since Dan Kirkpatrick. And all of a sudden, NASCAR's like, nah. She's not allowed, like she's not qualified. And I'm like, well, I mean, that's unfortunate, but everyone has their various opinions on it. I could see both sides. I could see why some people wouldn't want her or didn't want her to basically be in the race. And I could see the side of people saying she should have been in the race.
Yeah. Well, I mean, especially for me, because like one of the first people I ever watched, like in NASCAR, right, was like, she was leading, and it was Jennifer Jo Cobb, she was in the truck race, This was like a little bit after I got out of the hospital and I was watching it, because I already told you guys how I first initially came into racing. You can go back to the previous episode where it actually has me with my ad on it. So that was my first episode ever on here, but now I'm kind of like always coming back here, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, so it kind of upset me because, she's been in the business for a long time. And it does bother me, though, that people are saying that NASCAR is sexist, because I really don't see that. I just think they see more of, like, all the things that have happened because of it. Like they have a decent reason why, but I feel like she's kind of like a NASCAR veteran. So the fact that they wouldn't just makes me a little mad. You know what I mean? Just makes me a little upset. Because,
Sorry.
I'm not going to say what I was going to say because that would be unreasonable. Never mind. Scratch that.
I mean, I can see sort of what they were saying, but she's not too terrible for running her own team. I mean, she keeps the truck clean for the most part, I guess. I mean, she's been through a lot in NASCAR, and I mean, I feel bad for her, but it's just I think that it was just dumb. I've never seen anybody really been told, oh, you're not allowed to race in this race like that. That to me was just a little odd, but I don't think NASCAR was sexist because of it. But I mean, they should let her run a truck race or a cup race, excuse me. She's been in the sport for so long. I mean, it's only time.
Right. And like, okay, listen, people are gonna like me for this, but if that was Dale Earnhardt Sr. or I'm just gonna say straight, if that was Dale Earnhardt Sr. and like let's say he never had a cup race, they would absolutely let him go into it.
Right.
I definitely think that NASCAR has an issue with having favorites. There's definitely that comes in play. I think there is such thing as favorites that comes in NASCAR, and I've always thought of that. I always thought that was like part of like the side effects of that business that just kind of really does like make me mad. But it's all right. I mean, what are you gonna do?
I feel like if it was Haley Deegan, honestly, or Natalie Decker, they would have let them in.
Facts. I definitely agree with you. I was getting ready to say that.
Well, yeah, I definitely. Well, like, see, that's upsetting though, cause like she's a veteran, bro. Like, not even let her run in one race. Like, dude, like, come on, like that's like disrespectful. Like, that's like a slap in the face, in my opinion. Like, I did all this for you guys. She doesn't get paid bad. Don't get me wrong, but she's not getting paid the best, and especially with her own team, she's kind of struggling. So for her to like kind of maybe get that little boost would have been nice, but no, NASCAR just had to give her old middle finger to her, and like they did it publicly too, which is like that's what really made me mad, because I'm like, that's embarrassing, and you guys didn't really have the need to do that. You could have just kept it quiet.
Exactly, I agree. Now let's go into another opinion. Oh no, actually, wait, we got another piece of news here. Kaulig is going to be starting their own Cup team. So, what's your guys' thoughts on that?
It doesn't surprise me. I had a feeling they were going to do that, and I was hoping they were going to do it this season. And I had a feeling they were going to, because I'm friends on Facebook with Chris Rice, who's a part of the team at Kaulig, and he's been putting some hints on his Facebook stories, and I'm like, maybe this might happen, and it did. So congrats to them. I don't know if they'll be like very competitive at certain tracks, but I think that they'll be definitely good at the super speedways like they usually are. But yeah, I'm very happy for them. Really cool to see.
Yeah, for me, I'm actually pretty excited, because like I did kind of expect this coming in at some point, especially with all the all the steam they've been having lately, so I think that I'm pretty excited. I would like to see where this goes, and I'm not expecting them to be phenomenal in the first season. It never works like that in NASCAR. I'm going to give them a couple seasons, but I do think that they could be a top team. Now, I know that may be a little wild for me to say, but people were also hating on the 23XI movement, and look how far they've came. You know what I mean? They're already doing better than a lot of people. So.
Well, 23XI, we know why, but I think that was a great business move for NASCAR to do.
Oh, absolutely. You see guys like Kamaru Usman bringing more people to the sport, and honestly, my guess is that it kind of had the whole deal, because I know that like he's a UFC guy, and I know that he has things with Michael as well, and I think that it's kind of cool that all these sports are coming together. You know what I mean? And kind of having these going to these races, and it brings more fans in, which is really cool. So, to see like a UFC champion, right? I'm a big time MMA guy for you guys that don't know. I love MMA. I do it now. Not officially. Sadly I can't. I gotta be 17 and up. So it's the rules here. But I do too, Muay Thai and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But to see someone like that actually come in NASCAR and like, just look at the races and kind of actually have an interest into it was pretty cool to me.
Yeah. I think that it's a great move for them. Congratulations to them. They've really shown that, that small teams can come back and be bigger teams. And that's really impressive for them, and I'm very happy for them. And I think that the driver's going to be either Kaz Growler or Justin Haley, obviously, even though I really want AJ Allmendinger.
Yeah, no, I think AJ definitely needs to be put up there. If he's not, I'm actually going to be really upset, like really disappointed. I think AJ and Justin should be up there.
Facts.
Now, some people may not like that for that, because I know some people are like iffy with Justin, but come on, guys, he's proved himself like a lot, so I definitely think he should be up there.
Facts.
All right, now let's get into the top 10 here. This is top 10 moments / crashes at Kansas.
Moments, but I did add some crashes
There
in
were
there.
a lot of crashes.
They had to have made the top 10. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead.
I know.
Sorry.
I understand. That's why I said moments / crashes. But anyways, number 10, Ryan Preece's near flip. Here's the clip. So the
Chase is going to be able to push that Atlanta car back out front. More wrecking.
And around goes the 95 and the 37.
Hard hit.
Into the wall.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, it's awful.
Ryan Preece in the 37.
Fantastic. That's Ryan talking.
Glad to hear that.
Put the winning it down. Man, that's good to see.
Yeah.
That was scary. That's one of those wrecks that when you're watching it, or especially if you're Ryan Preece in that car, the angle at which you're approaching that inside wall was a violent crash. Scary.
Almost upside down. We see the 17. And look at the AMR team right there. And how about that? Frustration to climb out of the car, but still, man, what a hard hit. And glad to see him be able to climb out of that car on his own power. Such a dangerous sport, and we almost lose sight of that until something like that happens.
Let's take a little replay and see just how this began. There's Ryan's car. Back there behind Tyler Reddick. He goes to the middle of the racetrack. Got a great run going there. Looks like the 17. Oh, no, ahead of them. The 95 gets in the wall.
Christopher Bell and Ryan Newman look like.
Summer race last year, Preece got caught up in an accident that was caused by Christopher Bell and Ryan Newman. When Bell came up the track and went into Newman a little bit, Preece had nowhere to go and slammed the inside wall so hard, his car nearly flipped over. That was one of the craziest accidents I've ever witnessed live. He was so mad too, rightfully so, but luckily he was okay.
That was a hard hit. I remember when I was saw the highlights, whatever, I was working that night, but I remember when I saw the highlights, I was like, man, it kind of worried me for a second, and it looked very similar to Eric McClure's Talladega wreck. It was a pretty hard hit, and he was mad because he got taken out. But anyways, moving on to number 9 on the list, I put Johnny Sauter's miracle save at Kansas. He ended up winning the race. Roll the clip.
Hornaday pulls right to the rear bumper, moves to the inside.
Here comes Hornaday trying to make the pass as they go into turn 3. He's going to have to slow down now.
Oh,
both of them sideways. Sauter keeps it going straight. Hornaday's going to save it. They stay 1 and 2.
I can't believe NASCAR didn't throw the caution because I thought they'd wreck, but NASCAR was smart, kept the caution flag in the flag stand, and we're still racing green. Those guys are at it. Unbelievable.
Got to get back up to speed.
Oh, they're getting up to speed. But watch this out. Look how close these two are. Hornaday to the inside. They've got to deal with this lap traffic. And the lap traffic is side by side, so Hornaday just tries to move up the hill.
I think he got sideways before he even got there. That's why he made contact with Johnny Sauter. He got
coming out of turn number 4. The final tri-oval. Sauter is looking for his second win in the Truck Series.
Boys, that's how you win races.
That's how you drive a race truck.
And Johnny Sauter keeps saying on the radio, unbelievable, unbelievable. Joe, what was your thoughts when you saw him dead sideways in the middle of 3 and 4?
I just put my head down and I was like, oh, please get out of this. And I don't know how he did it, but he did it. Spectacular.
Tell me about the gelling of this team. In a short period of time, you guys have really pulled together something special.
It's amazing. We got a good group of guys here, and we started the season. We ended the season last year with a bang, and we started out the season here, and we got a little bit off. And this week we went to basics, and we brought old 23 back out, and she did it again for us. I love this truck.
So basically, in this race, it was race number 5 of the 2010 season, and Johnny Sauter was pretty much dominant in this race. He led 101 of the 167 laps. Pretty much him and Ron Hornaday Jr. were dominating that race. And towards the end, about 11 to go, if I'm correct, it was around 13, 11 to go. They were coming up on some lap cars, and Hornaday got a little loose and hit Johnny Sauter, as you saw in the video. They both slid, and I don't know how they saved this car. That was a pretty crazy drift, you know what I'm saying? It went sliding. But either way, they picked it back up. They were so far ahead that it didn't really affect them, and they finished 1-2. And that, I felt like, deserved the number 9 spot. So moving on to number 8.
Coming in at number 8, we have Anthony Alfredo's flip. Here's the clip.
With only 30 laps left.
Yeah, it's going to
make your way through this field.
29 to go now as the green flag flies once again. Haley, not a great restart here as Ryan C gets off to a good start, and now they're 4 wide going into 1.
That's it.
Oh, and around goes the 7, hard into the outside wall.
Buddy, hang on.
The
hang
7
on.
on the apron. The 21 of Anthony Alfredo was into the wall hard. He's upside down, sliding through 1 and 2. Looks like the 18 back there of Riley Herbst also involved. AMR safety crew will get to Anthony Alfredo quickly here. This will bring out a red flag as they will work to get Anthony out of the car.
But 2 or 3 rows back, that 7 of Justin Allgaier gets a big run, goes to the apron. Next thing we know, we're 4 wide on the apron, Jeff.
Yeah, everybody's got to go. Everybody has tires trying to get in track position. And Allgaier was just on the apron, entered the corner on the apron, and ended up getting up into the side of the 21.
Yeah, he ran out of, I mean, at some point, you have to make the corner. The corner has the banking. There were so many cars above him, he couldn't get up on the banking. It looked like he give us 2 thumbs up. 21-year-old Anthony Alfredo.
I tell you, Anthony's done. Obviously, the best thing about his night was him getting out of that race car, but done such a good job in that race car. He's giving car owners a reason to give him a shot next year in the Xfinity Series.
So basically what happened is that he got caught in the crossfire and then was turned into the outside wall at Kansas and had a awful hit. I mean, it was just a brutal hit. Then he had a flip, and I wouldn't say it was like the scariest hit I've ever seen, because but it was a pretty big one. I'm glad he's okay, but definitely scary.
Actually, I mean, that wreck, you don't really see many cars flip, you know what I'm saying, at Kansas. And in that race last year, Mans went for a wild ride, and it was a hard hit, and multiple cars were collected. So moving on to number 7, I had to put Martin Truex Jr.'s win in the 2017 chase race at Kansas. Here's the clip of the final laps.
And again, we have to remember from Furniture Row Racing, passing away yesterday, Jim Watson. There's 1 lap to go, presented by Credit One Bank. One more time around the 1.5 miles. A fabricator for the Furniture Row team. Jim Watson lost his life yesterday. And so now, with heavy hearts, they race, but Martin Truex Jr. trying to put another win in the column for the organization and the family. Coming through 3 and 4 for the final time. He's going to do it again. Martin Truex Jr. wins.
For you, Jim. Love you, brother.
So basically, it was the 2017 season, and Martin Truex Jr., if I'm correct, didn't he win this season? He won the championship. And this was with Furniture Row in the 78 car, and Truex Jr. had a pretty eventful day. So he led the first 35 laps of the race, and then he basically had a pit road penalty. No, actually, hold on a second. He ended up having a pit road penalty, but first he got a penalty for jumping the restart. And Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick pretty much dominated most of the race. It wasn't really a huge, exciting race. It was one big wreck on the backstretch at one point, but Martin Truex Jr. had the rebound from a couple penalties, which also include a loose wheel on lap 91. But Truex Jr. came back. He led the last 50 laps, and he ended up winning, which helped him advance to the next round of the playoffs. And the win was a very emotional one because that Saturday, one of the pit crew members, if I'm correct, I don't remember what his name is real quick. I'll pull it up. If I'm correct, it was Mike Watson. But good grief, I don't know why I forgot his name. Jim Watson. He had a heart attack the day before the race. He was one of the Furniture Row's, I guess, main pit crew members, and Truex Jr. got the win for him. So I feel like that deserved the number 7 spot.
In at number 6 is Tony Stewart running out of gas. I don't think there is a clip for this, so here's the script. In the fall 2006 race in the last lap, Tony Stewart ran out of fuel on turn 2, luckily for him, he had a 17-second lead, and Casey Mears, who was on the same fuel strategy, had run out as well. Tony coasted his way all the way to victory lane.
That finish, man, it was a few mileage race. It was not very exciting, but Tony Stewart built such a huge lead, and when he ran out of gas, he basically was going at a snail's pace. He was going so slow around the track, and I remember watching this race. I was like, is anyone going to catch him? You know what I'm saying? Casey Mears was going to catch him. It would have been Mears' first win, but Mears went out as well. And I thought that was pretty interesting because a lot of viewers at home were probably very nervous because the cameras weren't showing behind him. They weren't showing if anyone was coming. So I felt like that definitely deserved a number 6 spot. So moving on to number 5, I have Ben Rhodes and Johnny Sauter wrecking each other on the final lap, and it opened the door for William Byron to get his first win. Here's the clip.
Sauter going to the bottom. Johnny Sauter. The bottom. Still clear 3. Johnny Sauter to the lead.
William Byron strong around the outside. Can he make a run late? We got to the line.
To the restart line, the overtime line with a clean restart. Crafton trying to make a move.
What about Matt Crafton? He's into the top 5.
Ben Rhodes in second. The white flag waves at Kansas with Johnny Sauter in the lead. William Byron has slipped back to 3rd, but can he make a run to the final lap?
This thing isn't over. These guys are bearing down on Sauter.
Johnny Sauter had to go to the back of the field after an unapproved adjustment in qualifying, and now he's charged.
And Ben Rhodes hits him.
Rhodes takes him out.
And here comes Byron.
William Byron. The caution is out, and William Byron is in front and will win at Kansas.
William Byron goes to victory lane in his 5th Truck Series start of his career.
Put it down, young man. William Byron is the winner.
On the video, he's blocking everywhere. And Ben Rhodes had a huge run, and Ben Rhodes went forward on the inside lane, and Sauter blocked, and they went up and hit the wall, and William Byron got his first win. He was able to slip underneath and take that. And if I'm correct, he ended up winning 6 races that year, but I may be wrong. But I thought that was a pretty crazy moment, and it deserved the number 6 spot. So moving on.
Coming in at number 4, we have Joe Nemechek's final Cup win.
One car not turn as well.
2 laps to go.
If he can get low, it looks like he's low enough. If he can stay there,
Nemechek.
If he can stay down there, he's going to get air on the car. Here he comes for the lead.
Just the opposite of the situation Nemechek was in yesterday. He was coming.
Oh, Joe drives it down in really hard into turn 3. See if he can hold it. If he's got to get on the gas. He picks up the gas pretty good.
Coming out of turn 4. White flag this time.
Yeah, this is good stuff right here. Man, it is.
Mile and a half to go.
Now watch Joe. Joe should be able to drive it way in deep here. If the car doesn't slide up the racetrack too much, he'll be able to hold it and then run side by side down the backstretch.
Joe Nemechek's story is well known. Lost his brother John in a Craftsman truck racing accident in Homestead when Joe was competing in Las
Vegas. His family encouraged him to continue racing.
Oh, here comes Rudd. He's got to run, but
Nemechek will mirror block him now. Rudd is a veteran to the apron, but it's Nemechek with the win at Kansas.
that was a good race.
Man, terrific battle there at the end. Wow. Ryan Pemberton, you have won a race.
And Ryan won't be able to jump around and celebrate because he has a very bad back. A painful back. So Nemechek with the sweep.
It's good for the U.S. Army guys, isn't it? A lot of those guys are watching the race.
Be careful on him.
Pete Knight.
We talked about Pete a few weeks ago, right?
Alan's a card-carrying member of the Pete Wright fan club. Matt?
BP, he has finally made his way out of that mosh pit. Ryan, your first win as a crew chief, and boy, you couldn't ask for any more dramatic finish than that.
Man, I'm emotionally drained right this minute. All those cautions and running out of gas, and almost. He's probably out of gas right now. I don't even think he can do a burnout. That's all. Man, Joe's been he's been really on it. His team deserves. I really would have thought we'd had a win long before this. The way this team's been running, we just couldn't quite get those finishes, and here we put it all together. Man, great qualifying effort by Joe. Man, I can't say enough about this team. It's a lot of fun.
The last 2 years, this team has really gone through a lot.
Oh man, I can't even express how much this team's gone through, and you know, the whole being backed up by the Army here. I don't even know what to say. I'm all lost for words. You know, this is for all the troops.
This was him against Ricky Rudd. This is why I agree that aggressive racing should be allowed in NASCAR, because this was an amazing battle. I mean, you know, and it was one of his, you know, final, I think his final, race that he actually did, win, and it was pretty exciting for him. You know what I mean? And just overall a crazy battle. I mean, if you're talking about on your toes the whole race, that was one of them. And I remember at the end, Ricky Rudd goes to the outside, past the white line to try to get it, but Joe Nemechek pulled it off. Amazing. He had an amazing celebration. I even believe he cried, but I'm not sure about that. I think he did.
Yeah, I thought that race in general was just really cool. And I remember going back and watching him while I was making this list. I was like, yeah, this definitely up there. And it was really cool to see an Army car go to victory lane, because if I'm correct, that's one of the only couple of times we've seen an Army-sponsored NASCAR win a race. And Joe Nemechek's previous win, if I'm correct, was in the 25 car at Richmond. If I'm correct, it was either 2003 or 2002. It ended up being Joe Nemechek's final win in the Cup Series, and to basically dominate that whole race, which he did, was pretty surprising, because that year he didn't have a great year, but at the same time he did have some competitive races, and a lot of people were pretty shocked to see Ricky Rudd in the 21 car closing in on him, and them too, both of them veterans just going at it for the win. So moving on to number 3, we got Joey Logano spinning Matt Kenseth in 2015. Why I keep messing up? 2015 at Kansas. Roll the clip.
Right there, Matt Kenseth, he really lost his entire race car and able to 22 to catch him.
Here comes the 22. He's closed the gap all over the back bumper now as they've caught the slower traffic. And around goes the 20, sideways in front of the 22. Kenseth slides. Caution comes out. The 22 was all over the back bumper of the 20 as they entered turn 1.
I got plans, so I got the first time Joey spun me out, lifted my tires off the ground.
We mentioned the lap traffic. You see right here, Matt Kenseth gets tight. He knows the 20's coming, so he tries to block. He goes to the apron. He knows the 22's coming up. He comes up to block him. A big block onto the 22, and the 22 drives in. catches him in the left rear quarter panel, spins the 20 out. Matt Kenseth with a great save to stay off the wall, but the damage to the points and the ultimate win has been done. The 20 will have to come get tires. His chance to win today is over.
And Matt Kenseth had to do everything he could to block him. Just like I said, he's racing for his championship. If he doesn't block Joey Logano gets on the outside of him and gets around him. So you can't blame Matt Kenseth for trying to block.
Hang on right here, bud.
But with that, when you make that decision, and I agree, a must decision, he had no choice, you also put yourself that opportunity. We saw it last week with Carl Edwards and Dale Jr. We see it again with the 20 and the 22. When you drive defensively, you give the guy behind you the opportunity to make that decision. He gets into the 20. Right, wrong, that's racing. These two can disagree about it. They'll have to talk about it after. But as you mentioned, it all started with the 20's defensive moves, which were required in this must-win situation.
Yeah, you're there. If he'd have left the lane like he should have, nothing would have happened. He blocked too many times. I get it, man. It's fine. Copy. You know the deal. Yeah, 10-4. I mean, he blocked you once. Second time, he gotcha.
I was clear, Crazy said clear, and I checked, and I pulled up in front of him, and he just had me for 3 car lengths, lifted my rear tires off the ground, never lifted, getting into one, just dumped me.
So being a non-Logano fan, just going back and looking at this, I was pretty upset when this happened. I was like, man, Logano had already advanced to the next round. Why do you have to do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, didn't need to spin him, you know what I'm saying? But it goes down as one of the biggest moments in Kansas Speedway history.
Pause.
And Kansas basically got knocked out of the playoffs the next week at Talladega. But the spin hurt him. If Kansas would have won that race, he would have advanced. But because of the spin, he finished like 18th in that race, and it hurt him. And, you know, understandably, he was upset, and he ended up wrecking him, as we mentioned in previous episodes, at Martinsville. And, yeah, the rest is history.
Yo, I'm just saying this now. And people aren't going to agree with me on this because I know how people are. But Logano didn't spin him. He took the air from him. He took the air under him. There was no spinning contact. If you look at the video, he doesn't spin him.
Comment down below if you agree with Cam.
Yo, oh my God, I'm so serious. I'm tired of people saying that he spun him and he deserved it and all this. Listen, honestly, matter of fact, when you roll that clip, show the slow motion. Okay, because no. I just know.
Well, Logano admitted that he spun him if you listen to the radio.
I don't know if he meant to spin him or try to just bump him out of the way, but whatever, it happened.
I mean, he was blocking.
It didn't look like they hit, though. That's my thing.
Kenseth was blocking very much, but at the same time, Logano, you've won like 2 or 3 races in a row. There's no need for you to do that. You know what I'm saying?
The race isn't over. Listen, the race isn't over until you win. You think Kansas is going to get it easy? I'm sorry, but no, it doesn't work that way. Shoot, I'm trying to get as many wins as I can. I'm sorry, but it's just like, dude, it's just like in everything. You know, the game isn't over. You know what I mean? You know, the fight isn't over until the ref stops it. In this case, it isn't over until the person passes the white flag. So, you know,
I feel like I'm watching First Take right now. Dang.
Let's agree to disagree. But yeah, everyone down below comment, you know what I'm saying?
Comment down below if you agree with Cam and me. I say he didn't spin him and he meant for a bump and run, but with Kenseth blocking, that's just what happens.
Yep.
So
obviously, you know, now I'm gonna throw shade at Ryan Newman too.
Oh God,
you know, Kansas is pulling a little Ryan over there. You know what I mean? I'm just saying now, Ryan unnecessarily blocks for no reason. He'll be 23rd. Okay, I love Ryan Newman, but people know it's true.
In at number 2 is the 2007 LifeLock 400 finish. Here's the clip.
There's Biffle. 5 laps to go before he will go to victory lane for the first time. And he knows how much the guy in his rearview mirror, the 07, wants this race today. Contact with the wall for one Pablo Montoya. He's got a buzz.
Hold on, easy.
Yeah, they're going to have to throw a caution for this debris now. Oh, man, 4 laps to go. Oh, this is going to change everything. Debris right in front of Greg Biffle.
Caution is out. Caution's out.
See this tire come
completely apart. That's a lot of tire rubber right there.
Still
Pretty heavy piece.
Debris coming off there. Watch for Biffle 16 car to come right through. There.
Looks like he caught a piece of that thing.
Thank you, Joe.
Well, due to the darkness,
Good job, Biff. Hope I stayed out of your way enough there.
They're not going to restart this race because of the darkness on the racetrack here, and it is going to finish as promised on lap 210. That's why you see these guys down there in the Roush Fenway pits celebrating.
Congratulations to Greg Biffle, huh?
Looks like the Aflac Duck's going to get a checker here.
Greg Biffle, 37-year-old driver, had gone 28 races. His last win was at Homestead at the end of finale of 2006.
Flag, buddy, right there. Check a flag.
Biffle takes the win at Kansas Speedway in what was an unbelievably long day. But he doesn't care. Right now, he is a winner in 2007.
You know, I've never seen a driver cross the start-finish line, then turn around and go back the other way. I think I'd have made another lap, you know, just to make sure.
Well, the field is frozen. You see all these guys moving around each other. The field has already been frozen. As long as these cars just drive across the line, they're going to freeze them where they were. Greg just pulls down, and all these other guys pass him, but he's still the winner.
This was the 2007 fall race with Greg Biffle leading with 4 laps to go when Juan Pablo Montoya blew a tire. Now, Kansas did not have lights, which is another fun fact here. They did not have lights in 2007. The lights were installed mid-2010 to early 2011, with the first race having lights being in 2011, 10 years after the Speedway opened. Biffle and his crew started to celebrate when Biffle went down on the apron because he ran out of fuel, but he could have just coasted right to the finish. When all of a sudden, Jimmy Johnson and Clint Boyer decided to make an illegal maneuver and try and accelerate past Biffle, who was trying once again to go down to the apron to do his burnout, I guess, when he could have just went to the finish line like a normal person. And Jimmy and Boyer tried to get the win, but it did not work as Biffle was ahead at the time of caution.
Yeah, that race in general, I put that whole race at number 2 because there's just so many crazy moments. I mean, start off with Dale Earnhardt Jr. dumped Kyle Busch toward the beginning of the race, and it hurt Kyle Busch in the chase. And it also was pretty crazy because the next year, Kyle Busch ended up leaving Hendrick Motorsports, and Jr. ended up going to Hendrick Motorsports. And then about I would say around lap 100, there's a rain delay for a couple hours, which you don't really see that happen at Kansas. And then toward about 50 laps to go, I don't know if you'll be able to show this on the video, but basically there's a big wreck.
Jimmy Johnson a part of that 3-wide mix. Oh, contact down the back straightaway. The 11 car is involved. McMurray is involved.
15 wrecked us. Yes, he did. Just hold the brake.
Denny Hamlin slides all the way the length of the back straightaway, gets it, tries to get it refired on the bottom of the racetrack. Caution for the 11th time today.
Remember yesterday, the 15 and the 20, or the 11 in this case, was Denny Hamlin. They were out of yesterday.
Not hit anything. We did spin around several times.
Denny did have a really good restart. In fact, when he went into turn 1, by the time he got to the middle of 1 or 2, he was 3 wide on top of the racetrack trying to clear the 15 car as they exited turn 2, and evidently that's when they got together right there.
You see Denny pumping the throttle inside the car moment, go trying to get it to refire. Let's show you what happened. Top of your screen, watch the 11 car. The 15 there beside him is Paul Menard.
Some real tight racing. Whoa, looks like Jamie McMurray actually got into the side of Paul Menard.
And that's another part of the racetrack that's pretty unstable, guys. They're 3 wide side by side. Jamie's trapped on the bottom and slides up and gets into Paul Menard, and Paul Menard gets into 11 car. And there you go. But there wasn't any room left because of the 3 wide action off of 2. These guys are going for it, though. You understand, with 26 laps to go, they got to run every lap, like we said earlier, like a qualifying lap. Got to get it on. And they were doing it.
Hamlin's car has not refired. He's still sitting over there on the apron with it.
Before I do number 1, Clint Boyer really wanted to get a win at his hometown track, and he still hasn't yet today. But Okay, so
And he never will, unfortunately.
No,
maybe in the
It's
big,
flamboyant.
but anyways. Okay, so number one on the list, I had the finish of the 2008 Fall Kansas race between Carl Edwards and Jimmy Johnson. Roll the clip.
Carl getting there now, 2 to go.
Wow, made a big gain right there. That's huge. He might have found something when he got forced to that high side there a while ago.
He did find something. He was 0.4 of a second faster than Jimmy Johnson that last lap.
And you can see Jimmy Johnson take that away from him right there. Wow.
He's got a fight on his hands here this last lap.
We do. White flag.
Get you somebody. Let's go get it now.
That was big right there. Jimmy Johnson took that away. Carl Edwards was going to get to the outside of him and have a chance to make the pass. Still might
get him right here. Here he comes, digging up off the corner. Turn 2, half a lap away from the checkered flag.
And what's Jimmy Johnson do here? He goes to that high side. Carl Edwards is going to go to the bottom. There we go.
Oh,
drove right by him. With the car stick. Here comes Jimmy Johnson. He's in the wall.
Can he get it off the wall?
We're back inside now.
Oh, wow.
Carl Edwards trying to hang on. Here comes Jimmy Johnson down, and Johnson will take the win. Wow.
How good is that? Wow.
That's a finish right there, boys.
And the
Biffle gets the 24.
Biffle will get Jeff Gordon. Wow.
5 points for him.
How about Carl Edwards and just driving it all the way from one side of the track to the other?
You called it. You said it that Jimmy was going to take it away.
There, brother.
Man, oh man.
And Carl was going to go to the inside.
Yeah.
Pulled the old slide job. It just slid too far.
Of our top 13, there were 10 of them that were chase drivers. Reagan, Allmendinger, and Sadler in 8th, 9th, and 10th were the only guys that broke that up.
That was cool.
That was cool, yeah.
Let's go down to Mike.
And Chad Canals now just catching his breath, I would imagine. What'd you think of those last, say, 300 yards?
I didn't like that a whole hell of a lot. It was what a great race. You know, Jimmy's just done a great job. I love racing with Carl Edwards and Bob Osborne. Their guys are great. They're gentlemen racers. They dig. They want it really bad, and it's fun when you can beat guys racing like that. That's one for the highlight reel there. And Jimmy just did a great job. The team, the picker just did incredible today. Great pit stops, and we made some adjustments, and it came to life. We were a little off at the beginning, but Greg Ives, my engineers, and those guys, they did a great job.
You've now got the point lead, a 10-point advantage, 7 races to go.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything right now. Right now, all I got to do is win races and finish in the top 5, and the rest of it will fall in place.
This team knows how to experience the chase, Doc. They're not looking at points yet.
Not yet, and Jimmy Johnson picks up his 5th win of the year, his 12th win in the chase in 43 chase races. And when you're good, you're great. But I tell you what, Carl Edwards did not want the local fans to think he wasn't going to give it everything he had to try to win.
Jimmy Johnson had pretty much dominated the past 3 years. He was going for his 3rd straight championship. Juan Paul Montoya, for those that don't know, won the pole for this race, but he was disqualified for failing inspection for illegal shock absorbers. So Jimmy Johnson ended up winning the pole for this race, and he dominated, leading 124 laps. And in the end, Carl Edwards caught him, and it became a very classic and one of the most crazy finishes in NASCAR history. As Carl Edwards just dive bombed, tried to do a slide job, but failed miserably, hit in the wall, and Jimmy Johnson ended up winning that race, which, as a Jimmy Johnson fan, that's pretty cool. And I was trying not to be biased putting that at number 1, but I think it deserved the number 1 spot. What do y'all think?
I thought it was it's definitely a classic. And I just want to point out, though, I just thought about this. A lot of Jimmy's finishes in general have just been there's been wrecks involved. I don't know why, but I just thought about it. A lot have had wrecks involved. But, he still has those where nothing didn't happen. But there's a good amount of the classic ones where there was a wreck. Some that he won and then some that he lost,
He's had a lot of
which ones he lost, that's for sure.
He's had a lot of close ones too. Going to 2005 Coca-Cola 600 with Bobby Labonte. Then there's the one with Boyer at Talladega. Go on and on.
What do you think, Mike?
Well, I think that probably the finish was very good. I'll probably watch it when I edit, but yeah, sounded really interesting.
Another crazy fact about this race, sorry for prolonging, but it was 86 degrees at start time of this race, so pretty hot. But it's September in Kansas. What do you expect?
All right. Now let's get into the race picks for this weekend's race at Kansas. For the trucks, I'm gonna go with probably the obvious pick. It's worked, but it hasn't worked for me because he hasn't officially won. I'm gonna go with Kyle Busch.
Now, I'm just gonna go with someone random. Well, I'm gonna go Matt Crafton. Which, listen, I know it's like not a lot of potential there, but at the same time, though, I've gotten 3 picks right now. So like I've been doing pretty good lately. If I pull this off, I don't know. Maybe I'm cheating.
Man, I'm trying to find basically who's trying to get into the race for a truck series, but yeah, I mean Johnny Sauter's done well before there. I think Matt Crafton has as well, and Crafton's won a couple races at Kansas. I'm going to go with Crafton to win the truck race.
Oh, I see you're joining the boys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Savages.
Okay, so now for the Cup race. I was gonna say Joey, but I picked him 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
And then I remembered last season's race. I'm gonna go ahead, for the playoff race, by the way, I'm gonna go ahead and pick Kevin Harvick.
Okay. Now, that being said, I'm going with Kyle Busch, which I think that he won't win the first one, but I think after, already settling in with the truck race, I think that he'll definitely have a little more of an advantage, you know what I mean? So I definitely think that he could pull up clutch.
So I'm looking at the starting lineup for the Cup race, which in fact is called Bushy McBush 400, which is one of the weirdest names I've ever heard for a race in my life. I don't know if you can show the logo on the screen.
Setting up
but
for Kyle Busch to win.
It's crazy, man.
I'm telling you,
they really do want Kyle Busch to win. But anyways, I mean, Keselowski's on the pole, and he's done well at Kansas, but I really don't think he's going to win. McDowell starting third. And one driver also, Kyle Larson starting from the back in 32nd. We've seen him come from the back before, but I don't think that's going to happen as well. Kevin Harvick's a great pick because he's done well at Kansas. He's won, if I'm correct. Oh, no, I think I saw a stat that said he's won like 4 or something like that times at Kansas. I may be wrong, maybe 6. Christopher Bell's having a great starting spot, starting in 8th. Bubba Wallace starting 13th, and Newman starting 14th. If y'all didn't know, Ryan Newman's won at Kansas a couple times, but I don't think that's going to happen. Realistically, I want to say Kyle Busch because he's done so well at Kansas, and he usually wins the spring Kansas race. But I'm actually not going to pick him. I'm actually going to go with Kevin Harvick because I really want to see Harvick win. I think that it would be great for Stewart-Haas Racing. I know I said that last week with Eric Almirola, but if Harvick gets the win, you know what I'm saying, it would definitely give a confidence boost to that team because they just had such a rough year so far. I mean, all of Stewart-Haas Racing, and Harvick came close in a couple races, but couldn't get the job done. So he's my pick.
And with that, that will conclude this week's episode. If it is very long, we apologize. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe. And follow our Instagrams, join our fantasy league, join our Discord server, and we will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
See y'all.
Just gonna say real quick, sponsors, please.
Yes. Anyone who
by
wants
chances,
to
if
sponsor
anybody
us,
does, please.
anyone who wants to sponsor us, hit us up. Bye.
See y'all.